Lance versus the Titan Queen, a symbiotic Titan movie, so creepy and disturbing it was never made. Imagine seeing a hero being held prisoner, his every move scrutinized by a sinister interrogator. That's where we find Lance, our brave hero from Symbiotic Titan. Lance, stubborn and brash, never gives in, despite his harsh interrogation. But this isn't any ordinary interrogation. No, this dark figure has a twisted plan, an experiment, to see how the symbiotic Titan works and get access to it. Lance is a tough cookie that won't crack, so he decided to punish Lance by putting him inside the dark parts of Ilana's mind. He teleports Lance into Ilana's mind when she is unconscious in another room. Deep inside her dark subconscious, Ilana, his trusted ally, becomes the battlefield and the enemy he never knew he would be up against. Lance wakes up in his old house seeing Octus and asks where Ilana is. But then Octus behaves strangely. Then a huge eye peeks in the window as the house is torn off the ground and lifted up. Lance looks towards Octus. He has completely disappeared. Then he looks outside and sees her in utter terror. The familiar Ilana is gone. In her place stands a new, unnerving, bizarre personality called the Titan Queen, a towering, menacing giantess version of the innocent Princess Ilana, who now had a disturbing emptiness in her soul. Her eyes looked psychopathic, lips pointed with an unnerving smile. She had an evil, malevolent scheme to destroy Lance and the others involved in this project psychologically and escape into the real world. Her eyes, empty and soulless, lock onto Lance, becoming a dark, colossal version of his friend. A chilling smile creeping across her face, she drops the house. It crashes on the ground. She then towers over him in the house's remains, behaving not like a person but some kind of monster who wants to prey on its victim and torment them. She looked down at him menacingly. Lance realized this was not Ilana at all, but a monster wearing her skin and body like a costume. Her huge empty eyes stare down at him like she wants to consume and eat him whole. She saw him as a plaything now, an insignificant speck that just exists to be under her feet and be hers, the object for her disturbing amusement, a little servant for a Titan Queen. She was menacing and pure evil in this form. Lance, unfazed, tells this version of Ilana he's not backing down and to screw itself. In a voice not her own, she declares, "I am your Titan Queen. Beg for forgiveness, but I will not give you any mercy. Fear me, fear me." The creature that is taking the form of Ilana as a giantess booms in a distorted voice that echoed authority and menace, her eyes turning unnervingly wide, her smile growing and never stopping. Her words echo with authority and dominance, sending shivers down Lance's spine, but our hero is not one to back down. He readies himself for the fight of his life. The battle is violent and intense. Lance, with all his skill and determination, goes head-to-head with this new terrifying version of Ilana, climbing her massive body as she hisses at him like a snake. Her head twitches unnaturally like an exorcist as she tries to crush him with her hands. It's a clash of wills, a test of endurance as Lance climbs towards her giant shoulders. But the Titan Queen is relentless. She grabs Lance and pins him down. She then roars at him and bites him over and over as Lance screams, but he kicks her. Giant Ilana falls over as everything turns black. Then Lance stands on the giantess's face as she is knocked to the ground. Each strike from Lance only serves to piss this giantess off more and more. And I mean, she really gets pissed off, getting more violent and unhinged and fast. Lance fights aggressively, punching and attacking her again and again, but it does barely anything. He's up against something far beyond his understanding, something unnatural, evil and powerful. This isn't just a giant version of Ilana, but a dark entity that preys on souls and sees the world and Lance as a toy, and desires nothing more but domination over the world and everyone. The Titan Queen's power is fueled by something dark and mysterious, something supernatural and downright disturbing. Every move Lance makes is countered with an eerie precision. She was analyzing his attacks, being able to stop them more and more. This fight is exhausting and this giant creature is relentless. Destruction caused by their fight in the city kills millions. Lance looks in horror as she steps on innocent people and consumes their souls. She laughs hysterically, and then something sinister happens. She pretends to be Ilana again, trying to deceive Lance, but he doesn't believe her pathetic two-faced lies. His determination and fighting against her domination and control makes her more and more angry, insane and irritated. She then opens her gigantic mouth unnervingly wide and large as the Titan Queen then stops trying to manipulate him and tries to eat his soul like a soul-draining vampire. It then begins to drain his energy, but not just his energy, but his very essence. He can feel his soul getting torn from his body. Lance screams in pain as he feels himself weakening, his strength ebbing away. Despite all odds, Lance doesn't give up. He pushes back with everything he has. He punched her, stopping her soul draining on his body, but the Titan Queen's terror is unyielding, her rage and psychopathy getting more intense by the second. Ilana then tries to step on him. Her huge boot slams on him, but Lance uses his super strength and throws her over. Then her giant eyes, those empty voids, seem to bore into his soul, trying to take over Lance's mind to turn him into a vegetable. Lance realizes this isn't a battle of just physical strength, but psychological warfare, a battle of the psyche, battle of the mind. Lance's resolve against the Titan Queen's dark power seems to somewhat give him a short-lived advantage, but as time passes, it becomes clear. This is a fight Lance might not win for long. As she wears him down, he can feel his fighting spirit draining as he gets more tired and exhausted and weak, and his mind collapses, letting vulnerability in his psyche. Then Ilana slowly starts trying to take over his mind. As she stares into his soul, his mind warps. He then hears millions of voices coming into his mind, talking at once, arguing, laughing, screaming and crying hysterically. It makes him scream in agony as the voices won't stop. She then grabs him and plays with him as a toy, tormenting him, watching him smiling in an evil display. Ilana then booms, "Surrender to your Titan Queen, pathetic little Lance, or I'll eat you and send you to damnation. The voices will never go away." The Titan Queen's malevolent, unnerving, permanent smile never fades. She seems to take great pleasure in his struggle, in his diminishing strength, as he is psychologically and physically at her mercy. It's a chilling reminder of the twisted bonds of power and control that she has. It's terrifying. Lance tries to fight the voices in his mind and the Titan Queen, but he's getting exhausted and tired, as the creature that takes the form of Ilana toys with him, laughing in a distorted tone, her voice and laughter creepy and unsettling. As Lance's vision blurs and the voices get louder and louder, his strength wanes. He realizes the true horror of his situation. She then hijacks his mind and his memories, revealing all Lance's secrets about Symbiotic Titan. The interrogator's smile grows bigger and bigger. Lance is fighting not just for his life, but for the very essence of who he is, his sanity, to stop the interrogator from getting Symbiotic Titan, and to stop this horrifying creature that resembles Ilana from escaping into the real world. As Ilana's giant eyes stares into his soul, the thousands of voices in his head talking get even louder and unbearable as he yells in pure agony as Ilana watches him enjoying her twisted evil she's inflicting upon him. He then realizes he might not be able to survive this monster, or be enough to stop her. Lance versus the menacing Titan Queen, a nightmare horror film, where friends turn to giant monsters that desire to turn the world and everyone into a plaything, tormenting everyone psychologically and having schemes of taking over and dominating the world and everyone in it, a diabolical evil that must be stopped. The interrogator laughs with sinister delight, writing down all the detail of this horror on display. He will be able to get the info he wanted from Lance so he can activate Symbiotic Titan for himself. He says this Titan Queen is interesting and that he's glad he's not Lance. But then something supernatural occurs. Titan Queen twists her head in the monitor that he and his men are watching of the events going on with Lance in Ilana's mind. She stares through the monitor with angry and disturbed eyes as she ties Lance up and leaves the screen. She knows they are watching. The interrogator and his men look in all the monitors. She's disappeared completely. As the interrogator backs away and watching in terror, he and his men are about to run, but before they can, the room turns completely pitch black. Then a piercing loud roar makes everyone scream. Everyone panics. Everyone in the room is made unconscious, including the interrogator. He himself then wakes up in a creepy old house in the middle of nowhere. Then he looks up in terror as the giant Titan Queen smiles down at him. He tries to run and hide, but she runs fast and consumes him whole as he screams, tearing him into pieces, killing him instantly. Then the Titan Queen kills everyone in the room one by one in their own terrifying subconscious nightmares of the Titan Queen, killing them in different and multiple inhumane ways and in brutal fashions. And then she targets Lance. She towers over him. She booms, "Nowhere to run. The Titan Queen will destroy and eat your mind, body, soul, and I will haunt you forever." As Lance fights for his life, he says he cannot let her break into the real world. She hisses at him as Lance holds his fists in the air, knowing this was it. His last defense, his great sacrifice, as her giant mouth gets extremely wide as she proceeds to eat Lance whole as everything goes pitch black.